Mike Sports Vibes, thank you for vibing with me. Charles Barkley has spoken, and in other words, because I'm not reading it because I'm recording right now. In other words, he's pretty much saying, move on from James Harden. He was a heck of a player. He's not in his prime. And he thinks that Charles Barkley is holding Tyrese Maxey back. In a way, he definitely is, because Tyrese Maxey doesn't have the ball as much because of James Harden is mainly for having the ball to facilitate the basketball. And but in another way, he's helping Tyrese Maxey, taking that pressure off of him. But I think Tyrese Maxey can handle the pressure. So yes, Charles Barkley, you're definitely right. And I agree with get a couple of good players and move on. Just move on. At the end of the day, we might not get a star back for James Harden. He's not in his prime no more. So the value of him is not going to get you a star back. So get you two good quality players and build around your two centerpieces, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Move on from this situation. And let's go win a championship, man. All this back and forth, NBA's getting involved, all this drama, James Harden calling Daryl a liar, and he doesn't want to play for the organization, any organization that's associated with Daryl Morey. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense, man. A whole bunch of drama, a whole bunch of nonsense, a whole bunch of just, I don't know. I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it, man. And then it's like the whole NBA's talking about it. Stephen A. Smith is sticking up for James Harden, knowing darn well he has done nothing in the playoffs. He has done nothing when it counts the most. And yes, he's a great player. He's a top 75 player of all time. But at the end of the day, you still have to ball out when it counts the most. And you're 34 years old playing like that in the playoffs. That's a recipe for not getting paid. Period. You know what I mean? So, I agree with Charles Barkley, man. Charles Barkley, keep talking your talk, Charles Barkley. Keep talking your talk. I love hearing all-time great players talk about this situation, especially Charles Barkley, because he was a 76er. I appreciate him, because Tracy McGrady was pretty much calling out James Harden like, why wouldn't you want to stay in Philly? You have the best chance in Philly with the MVP, Joel Embiid, of the regular season. You had a good chance. And for you to want to leave that situation, is it about winning, or is it about just the money? You know what I mean? I'm not counting his pockets or anything, but you made a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like Charles Barkley said, you're about to get 36 mil this year. So it's not like you ain't getting paper. You made a lot of money in your NBA career. And on top of, let me get the light in. And on top of making a lot of money, the only thing that's missing is a championship. How bad do you want a championship? I know you took a pay cut to get PJ Tucker. That wasn't the right move on Daryl's end. I like PJ Tucker and House. They're not the right pieces that we need to put around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. They weren't the right pieces. And Doc Rivers didn't even utilize PJ Tucker right for the most part. He didn't use anybody right. He didn't use Paul Reed right. They didn't use House. He played on one game in the playoffs, and he had a really good game, and he just stopped playing them for some strange reason. So it's not all on Daryl, but at the same time, and I understand Doc was before Daryl, so it's not like he hired Doc Rivers. But at the same time, man, you got to see what players you have around your team. You getting players that played with James Harden. It should be players that could play with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Those are your two. Well, James Harden right now is still better than Tyrese Maxey overall. But you should get players built around Joel Embiid, because that's your superstar player on your team. Why are you getting players that fit James Harden? That's not his team. This is not the Houston Rockets. This is not those times. This is Joel Embiid's team. You get the right players to play around him. And I just feel like he just never, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Leave in the comments below what you think about this whole situation, about Charles Barkley talking that talk, because he is talking that talk, and Tracy McGrady calling him out as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wish more all-time greats, because Tracy McGrady and Charles Barkley are all-time greats. I know they didn't win no championships, but they're still all-time greats. And I don't think they would have said trade me away from the MVP, especially if they got the type of paper that James Harden. I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, out of all the NBA players of NBA history, I think James Harden is top 10 when it comes to getting paid. Like, he got the biggest contracts and everything. So, is it really about the money? Or is it because you want it to be your team? I'm starting to feel like you want a franchise to look at you as a franchise player and build around you. It's not Houston Rocket days. This is when you was in Philly, when you're a Sixer, it's Joel Embiid's team, and then it's going to get passed to Tyrese Maxey. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but I'm starting to think that he wants his own team. No team looks at you as Houston Rocket James Harden. I don't. And I'm pretty sure even the James Harden stands, even the diehard James Harden fans know that he's not the same like he used to be. He's still a solid, good star player, but he's not the same player. You get what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Like and subscribe if you're a 76er fan. And I'm out.